And when I'm thinking, I guess one of the overarching intentions of this training is to help people start to think differently about challenging behaviors. And I hope that each of you get some of that out of today. And the best way I can explain it without going into massive amounts of behavioral jargon, I usually, like with any challenging behavior, I tend to break it down in my head into show and tell. The show part is easy. We can look at a client and see what he or she is showing us. Now, what he's showing us might be, oh, you can come up to me and say, excuse me, may I please have another turn? Or what he's showing me could be that he can throw a book at my head. But in either instance, what we need to figure out is, yeah, I saw what you showed me, but what is it telling me? And that's the piece that needs a little bit of detective work. So the images I've got on the screen right now, two students, identical students doing the exact same thing, screaming and covering their ears. So that's the show part. Now, what that's telling us is going to depend on a lot of factors. And here's two possible examples. So this first student might be covering his ears and screaming because he's just letting us know this task is too hard for me. I need help. And in his experience, maybe screaming is the best method to gain access to that help in his past. Another possibility, that student may be experiencing some sensory challenges, and the task might not be too hard. He might love engaging with you in that moment, but he might be screaming and covering his ears to tell us, hey, guys, the noise in here is too much for me. I can't take it. So again, like the purpose of this illustration is a simple demonstration of, on paper, we've got two identical students doing the exact same thing, but just because the show is the same doesn't mean that what it's communicating to us, quote unquote, the tell, is the same. So again, in terms of thinking about challenging behaviors differently, there's a few things to keep in mind. Number one, all behaviors, everything we do, quote unquote, everything that we show the world, it has a function and it meets a need. And that's true of like super awesome, desirable, adaptive behaviors and the behaviors that present challenges to us during our sessions, to our clients functioning in, real world settings, all those kinds of things, regardless of what the show looks like, that behavior is still an attempt to get a want or a need met. And then where that gets particularly tricky for us who serve students with special needs, many, if not most, of our clients struggle with communication. And so what often happens, the result of, not having the same ability to tell things as a same age peer, oftentimes our students end up showing us much more often than they tell us what's going on with them. So that's where that like detective work piece comes in. Yeah, and kind of a quick bumper sticker way to think about that when we think about challenging behaviors with our clients. What can't be told often gets shown. And there's two reasons for this. Some students may be missing skills. They may not have the verbal or, whether verbal, picture exchange, talking, a communication device, whatever. They may not have the skills via one of those means to tell us what's going on with them in a way that we understand right off the bat. Another possibility, I know we all work with students that have challenges with emotional regulation. So some of our clients may have excellent communication skills, but not have the regulation ability to use them like when they're upset or something in the environment is dysregulating. And one thing I always emphasize in this sort of like Blue's Clues adventure of deciphering what's being told from what's being shown is that we should always keep in mind that Some things that would be absolutely no big deal to you or I can be very upsetting to our clients. I mean, a sensory experience, maybe the parent drove a different route to the clinic today. For some of our students, those things can be really anxiety provoking, really aversive. Now, one of us, we would probably just roll through some change like that and have no problem with it. But for some of our students, those could present really big challenges. And I try to always keep that in mind when I'm trying to decide how I'm going to address an interfering behavior.